welcome to another 10-cent beer night. We've been on hiatus for a few weeks, partially because of the NBA draft last week, too. But we're back here today, November 25th, 2020.
The
here.
day before Thanksgiving.
About to say a happy Thanksgiving
Turkey
from your
Day,
family to yours, to ours, to everybody here in the United States of America. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob Fritz.
And there you go. We're going to start off. Of course, we decided to cancel last week's show due to we were going to be in the middle of this big NBA draft. Kind of hard to compete with the NBA draft. So we decided we'll take a week off. We'll come back before Thanksgiving. We're going to recap everything. So, Cleveland Cavaliers offseason started last week, technically after the finals, but technically not at the same time. But they really didn't do anything of any kind before then. After all trade rumors and everything that was there last week, nothing really happened trade-wise. It was before or during the draft. They did walk away with the 5th overall pick, Isaac Okoro out of Auburn, small forward there. And what was interesting about this pick here is, Bob, we're going into we're in the second post-LeBron era, all right? This is the first real deal small forward that they have drafted since LeBron has left. I'm talking the first and second time. The first time, the closest you could bring up was Andrew Wiggins is kind of small forward, but when he was drafted, he was more of a shooting guard.
Right.
And he can fit into both. But they traded Wiggins for Kevin Love, so we never got to see that pan out. And you go into now, we're in the second post-LeBron era, and, I mean, there's people that have said Kevin Porter's a small forward. I don't think so. I think he's more of a shooting guard. Overall, though, Okoro is the first real deal wingman that they have drafted. 6'6", out of Auburn, from Atlanta, Georgia. He's got that kind of that hustle that Colin Sexton has. Again, heavenly defense, needs to work on his jump shot. The other thing I will notice is, a lot of NBA players, when they come in the league, they're kind of lean muscle built, kind of skinnier, and then as their career progresses, they get kind of bigger. He's already buff. He's ready to go.
He's a good sized kid.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Overall, an interesting selection. It was the second surprise selection of the night compared to when the Bulls selected Williams out of Florida State before that, as a sixth man. That kind of surprised people and threw them off.
Were you surprised with the Cavs pick?
I actually was, and I'll tell you what.
I thought they was going after the kid from Dayton.
And I thought similar too. I knew Okoro was heavily scouted. They brought him in, and I was aware that during draft day, before the draft started, there was rumors on Twitter and on other websites, NBA websites, that said Okoro is rising up the draft board in Cleveland. But I wasn't sure if this was a smokescreen, right? You never know, And they were in talks with the Knicks and other teams about moving down. But before the draft started, people were thinking Obi Toppin from Dayton.
Right.
They're thinking Denny Avdija from Turkey. I think that's how you say his last name. I'm sorry if I butchered it bad. And those were the two guys I was kind of watching. I was a big fan of Denny. I thought maybe this is their guy, two-way player. Ends up going to Washington Wizards with the 9th pick. However, I did more research on Okoro. I started watching more film on it. And I was like, this is not a bad pick. This fits their mold of what they're looking for. They needed to address the small forward position. Because
I think they did a good pick. I mean, I didn't know much about this kid. So of course, I did the same thing. I looked them up and watched some videos of them and stuff. It was a good move. The kid from Dayton, I'd like to see him in Cavaliers, but he wasn't a defensive player. He was pretty much an offensive offense. And this kid that they took out of Auburn is a defensive player.
Right. And that's the thing with Toppin too. He's going home, so that's kind of a big deal. He's from New York City, so that was cool with it itself. Going on to the top of the draft board here, the number 1 overall pick was I had his name.
I can't think
for the kid from Georgia.
Most people knew that's who was going to be.
Right. And then Jay Wiseman from Memphis went to the Golden State at second. Third was LaMelo Ball, the Ball kid, going to the Hornets. Probably the Hornets' best playmaker they've ever drafted in years. Yeah, I can't think
I
of that
can't.
kid's
I
name.
think they now either.
I just looked up the draft order. I was trying to memorize it. I feel so stupid
I
too
know he's from Georgia. I
because
know
I
this
was
kid from Georgia.
so high on that. Um, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards there from Georgia. Again, Dwayne Wade. And then there's another player, Donovan Mitchell type player, the kid from Utah that just signed the big deal. Very good player. I think the Timberwolves made a fantastic pick with that. Because they need some help outside of town. So they still have not. A lot of people had them as a final threat a couple years. No joke. After a couple years of Towns in the league and just what they had around him, Jimmy Butler, all that, people are like, this team is going places. Didn't go anywhere. They need some extra help. They were able to win the number 1 overall pick. Anthony Edwards is the guy. And things are shaping up a little bit better in Minnesota. We'll see. But now going back to our Cavaliers, moving on from the draft, so they get a core there. They really don't do much. They do lose Tristan Thompson to the Boston Celtics there.
Right.
They do make a trade that helps the almost in Miami Heat, but no, Los Angeles Lakers out. Los Angeles need to free up some cap room to get in Marc Gasol, so they trade JaVale McGee and a second-round pick to Cleveland. Cleveland then fills that backup center spot that Thompson left open. And so you have that. They did trade away 2 younger pieces. However, one of them, Jordan Bell, got cut today by the Lakers, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Cavs hit him back up. And then Dellavedova just recently resigned.
He
so
resigned, yeah.
Overall, the Cavs don't need much more because they need to get the young players playing. You weren't expecting much in the way of a big addition to this team, okay? Especially right now, you still have Andre Drummond and Kevin Love down low starting. That's good veteran leadership there. This team is shaping up to be a fun team, but it all depends of basically where they're at trade deadline, and that's going to decide Drummond and Love's future with the Cavaliers there. I think you will see them suit up in Cleveland opening day. I don't think you're going to see a trade here.
I know Drummond's did opt his contract. I mean,
he opted in, yeah.
$28.7 million.
Right. And his name flew around with some trade rumors. Kevin loves it. The one trade rumor I was interested in hearing, and I didn't think it was going to happen, was there was one about a couple multiple team trades that would send Kevin Love to the Golden State Warriors. And it wasn't sure what the Cavs would get back, and rumors had it about Andrew Wiggins or the second overall pick. Well, it didn't happen, and it was probably in the Warriors' best interest not to win. About an hour before the draft, they got word that Klay Thompson ruptured his Achilles while working out, so he will be out for the year. So that's a big loss for Golden State right there.
Well, I'm glad Love's still in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, this is a leader. He still played well when LeBron and Kyrie left.
The last couple of years, he's always been on the top of the trade list.
Right.
Always rumor him being traded and stuff like that. I like Love.
Exactly. And like I said, he's played
veteran guy that works with the young kids well. I think it's a good keep him there.
Yeah.
Same way with Drummond.
Yeah.
I'm glad Drummond opted to stay.
Yeah, and people have said before the Cavs had one of the best post player groups in the league. Now Thompson's gone, but JaVale McGee's still a very good center, and so you still have that with Nance Jr. in the mix and everything like that. So they can't. That's a team that will not have any issues rebounding. They will not have any issues inside scoring, for sure. And what I do love. What I would like to see, what I'd like to see is there were some issues last year, somewhat with Kevin Love, and that's where the rumors of the trade rumors really sparked. But that was issues he had with Coach John Beilein at the time. Beilein resigns, he takes the front office position with Cleveland. Bickerstaff comes out. When Bickerstaff came in, Love looked like his old self. He enjoyed being out there. He played better. He gelled. And also with Drummond in the mix, that helped too. It wasn't like all the weight was on him. So a mix of those two, he looked like he was enjoying his time in Cleveland again. So I think they want to just see. We didn't have a lot of time with Bickerstaff until the COVID thing hit, and then our season was over. Let's go in with almost the same group of guys with a couple of different pieces and just see where we're at with Coach Bickerstaff at this point. Now, I'm not saying his job's in jeopardy because it's not. Bickerstaff will be here for a while, but just to see if the mix of the veterans, the rookies, and the young players really, really pan out, and that's what we'll be interested to see here. However, one thing I wanted to mention, Bob, was there was a sneak. Well, technically, it wasn't by the Cavs, but it ended up working in the Cavs' favor to potentially bring in another superstar in the future to Cleveland. Okay, now, but ladies and gentlemen, before I say this, I want to let you know that there's going to be a lot that has to happen in order for this to happen. But let me explain. Okay, a couple of years ago, we got Matthew Dellavedova and
Right.
John Henson in a trade with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
Okay, we ended up trading Henson for the Andre Drummond trade. Now Delly's back with us. In that trade, one of the key pieces was a protected first round in 2022 with the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a top 10 protected pick, okay? Before the draft, it may have been a little bit right after the draft, the Bucks make a major trade for Drew Holiday, point guard of the Pelicans, okay? Right. In that trade, they included a couple first round picks. Now, because they had the way the NBA protection happens on first round picks, it goes by every couple of years. So let's say Milwaukee was a bad team in 2022. They keep their pick if it's in the top 10. Cavs get Milwaukee's pick if it's the top 5 protected next year. It goes by years,
right.
Well, because they did that trade, they ended up sending an extra pick to Cleveland to a rights of another player from somewhere in the past in a couple trades ago. That's whatever. That was a second-round pick in 2025. But they had to remove, because they did that trade with New Orleans, they had to remove the protection off that pick. Okay? So Cavs are sitting with an unprotected Milwaukee Bucks pick in 2022. You with me so far?
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So they got this unprotected pick. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I hope I said that right. I mean, it's a tough name. One of the best players in the league. His contract's up after this year. Okay? If he leaves you could add any team. It could be the Lakers. It could be the Warriors. I'm not saying for sure. Just hypothetically, he leaves the Bucks. The Bucks are in prime position to be a terrible team, which would mean the Cavs have another lottery pick. It gets even more interesting. Okay? Nothing's official, but word on the street, word around the league is between now and the 2022 draft, they are going to change the rule where high school players can go straight to the NBA. If that does happen in 2022, again, a lot's got to happen. In 2022, a lot's got to happen. If that happens, and the Cavs have Milwaukee, hopefully the Cavs aren't terrible. We're hoping the Cavs are definitely a playoff team by then, okay? If Giannis leaves Milwaukee, it's a lottery pick, and high school kids can go straight into the draft. LeBron James Jr. and Chris Livingston from Akron, will be eligible for the 2022 draft.
I see where you was going with that.
Could we possibly be a good Cavs team and add an Akron superstar? I mean, this again, a lot's got to happen. There's got to be a domino effect of a rule change, and Giannis has to. If Giannis stays with the Bucks, forget about it. They're going to be a good team, And we hate to see the superstar leave the small team. We've been through it twice, right? So we don't like, but I mean, I'm kind of being a little selfish, and I'm kind of like, I would
love to see it.
You know what I mean?
I like the Livingston kid. LeBron's son is great too, but this Livingston kid, a lot of people comparing him to LeBron when he was a high school age.
He reminds me a little more of Kobe. I'm not a basketball scout, but I understand where they're going with the LeBron comparison. My thing too is LeBron's contract ends around that time. And he said he wanted to play with his son. I mean, so if it's even not Cleveland, somebody else is going to get LeBron. But could we see something very interesting happen the next couple of years? Now, like I said, this is completely. But it's possible.
Like you said, things got to fall in place.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Now, I hope. I'd love to see it.
There is a better chance.
Because I always said LeBron's coming back to Cleveland.
I mean, I think he would retire.
I always said he's going to retire in Cleveland.
I can see it. It's just, when and where. And right now, L.A., they've had a great offseason. They've impressed me. I mean, if people talk about the repeat chances, I can't rule it out. Once they officially sign Anthony Davis, this team on paper looks very sharp. The talent they've added, the moves they've made, I've been very impressed of who Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Saul, Harrell from the Clippers, who was Sixth Man of the Year. Just great. This team's already gotten better in the past week. Just staying healthy and making it happen. They wanted Dellavedova. He comes back to Cleveland, though. So that was kind of nice. But, yes, there is a chance.
Now, this kid that the Cavs picked up from the Knicks, they signed a kid, Damian Dobson. I couldn't remember his last name. And they picked him up, signed him for 2 years.
Right.
You know much about him?
Yes. You were the one that called me and informed me about his criminal past he had it while he was in college and stuff. Well, right, it seems like he's kept his nose clean for the 3-4 years he's played in the league. And we hope it stays that way. I did see there was a comment in the Cavs concerning the Kevin Porter situation too, and they said, "Look, he's a good kid. He had a bad upbringing. We're going to stand by him the whole time." Which and it's like, look, you have these young guys, a lot of talent, a lot to bring to the table, and they're not cancers at least from what I'm hearing. Right. Porter's been very supportive and positive about the team. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not worth it. Me and you saw Porter's best game as a Cavalier. Yeah, we were there against the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat, where they beat them and Porter dropped 31. He's a great player. It's just I don't think the Cavs would be as seriously invested into it if they didn't know everything they know. You know what I mean? So,
well, like the Dobson kid, yeah, he's got he had some problem when he was at Oregon.
Yeah.
Of course, he ended up transferring somewhere else after but all the charges and stuff were dropped, and everything was cleared on him. I mean, he's done pretty good. He had a kind of an off year last year with the Knicks. When playing time was like from an average of 22 minutes a game to like 13.
When they added
when they added some I can't remember
the kid from Duke. I can't think of his name at the top of my head. The guard. But yeah, when they added him, his playing time dropped. There.
But I don't know much about the kid. I looked it up, and I know they signed him for a 2-year deal for $4 million. And like I said,
it's. I want to look up the one guy's name, but again, if they didn't do their homework, I don't think that they would be investing in these players.
I know Porter's right now.
R.J. Barrett from the next there.
Yeah, I know his play time went down when they brought somebody else in. I know that,
but yeah, that was just an extra piece, especially after trading McKinney and excuse me.
But I've liked the move so far of what the Cavs have done.
They're sticking to their plan, and they're drafting very tough basketball players, mentally and on the court and everything, and guys that want to come in, they want to learn, and that's what the Auburn coach was saying about Okora, is he wanted to step his game up in every way before. We ask questions all the time. He asked, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? What do you want from me next? I mean, he was a team player,
I mean, you got guys in Cleveland now that wants to be here.
Right, and
they want to be here.
That's what you.
I mean, years ago, before the LeBron days, nobody wanted to come to Cleveland.
It's still that way. I will tell you made a good point there. It's still that way, and I think it's partially why they trade for JaVale McGee. There was a lot of good center free agents even this morning. There's a couple off the board now that were free agents, and you're sitting there wondering, why don't the Cavs talk to these guys? Why don't they make a move here? Because Tristan's gone. They need to fill a spot. I don't think they want it. I mean, if you're an NBA player, there's a lot of lights and glamour. You're playing in the winter, mostly, okay? Do you want to go to Atlanta, Miami, or whoever, where it's warmer, you can chill, you have a nice beach house, or do you want to go to Cleveland, where, like J.R. Smith, when he was here, he goes from the Knicks from New York City, where you could just get up any time of the day and go do something, or go to Cleveland where you're sitting around playing video games all day because there's nothing to do. You know what I mean? Like that's where they're sitting at. And right now, it's a rebuilding team, too, so that was a whole turnoff. So the Cavs had to go. They make a trade. Ends up helping the Lakers in one way or form, but it also helps the Cavs because McGee, he's a seasoned vet that's good on defense. They were one of the weakest teams in blocks. Again, they didn't have Drummond for long when they first got him, so they couldn't up that average there. But McGee's going to help with that. He's going to help with some inside scoring off the bench. I mean, it's a good pickup for them. I mean, he goes from NBA champion to the second worst team in the league, so that's a little doubter for him. But I think he's going to have fun with the younger guys he's going to be playing around and whatnot with. And some of the guys are getting it. They said Garland looks the best he's ever been since he's been in camp. Sexton bulked up. There's a lot to like right now. Nance Jr.'s always improving.
Right.
Good family out there too, and in the area.
Now, did we talk about the other Cavalier that was signed? That Matthews.
Matthews from Michigan.
Michigan, yeah. Of course, he was. He went into the draft in 2019.
Right.
And at a workout tore his ACL and hasn't played since then. The Cavs signed him to a minor league deal to come into camp.
Right, and he might be with the Canton Charge at some point.
I think he'll be down in Canton to start it off.
Right.
But he was a Michigan star. I mean, he played. Opted to go to draft his junior year and.
Right. It might be worth an investment. Just try it out. A project. You know what I mean? Get it together. Cavs got a lot of good staff there as far as player development goes and everything. I'm looking forward to seeing the Cavs again. We didn't get to see them finish out last year. I'm interested. Another guy I want to bring up that I am a fan of, and the reason why they needed to bring Okora up to the team is Cedi Osman, tough player, needs to work on his shot a little bit, but he wasn't really a small forward. They kept trying to make him the small forward, and he might start the year there until they could get Okora up, because Okora's got to fight for a spot. That's what Bickerstaff said. He's doing the coach. He's doing the thing he has to do. But Osman he wasn't a fit small forward. It'd be just better off the bench as a shooting guard. Dylan Windler's another one. A guy we drafted between the Garland and Porter selections. 3-point specialist, good height. Some people compare him to Kyle Korver. Had a leg injury last year. We didn't get to see. There was a little bit of time at Cannon Charge, but not enough. Can we see this guy come in and be an asset, be a role player to this team off the bench there?
I'm excited.
I am. I am too.
I think we're gonna have a good young team, and
if the Drummond and Love are here past trade deadline, I think they're going to make a push for the playoffs. I'm going to see the P word already. And the reason is because I like these picks they've been doing. Bickerstaff's a great coach. When we looked at the first time LeBron left, okay, we go back there. I like Byron Scott a lot. He's better with an experienced team than a rebuilding team, though. His career shows that. You had Kyrie. You couldn't get much around him other than that. Tristan, he was young. It took him a little bit. He ended up not being the best pick in that selection, but it is what it is. His number will be retired one day in Cleveland, I think. Being 9 years here and putting up the records he did set. Then we go on to the next draft. Dion Waiters ends up being a mistake. You could have got Andre Drummond there. You could have got I'm trying to think of who is that guy that used to play for the Warriors. He's not really in the league anymore, though, but he had a decent career. North Carolina kid, I can't think of it right now, but there's a couple of options. Then they trade for the rights for Tyler Zeller, and he ends up being a so-so center too. So you saw where the decline with Dion Waiters causes locker room issues. You go to the next draft. One of our favorite drafts to talk about, the Anthony Bennett draft.
Good draft.
Because no, it wasn't a good draft. That's why they sit there with the first overall pick. They did want to get rid of it. They almost had a trade in place with the Suns. They backed out for whatever reason.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
You're thinking,
okay.
Yeah. Anthony Bennett gets picked.
Yeah.
He doesn't score his first point till like February, I think it was. It was a bit, and he did have a moment. If you want me to share a quick Anthony
Who was
Bennett
the second
story.
pick in that draft for us?
We didn't have one.
We didn't have one.
Not with that one.
With a third pick. I mean, I'm thinking. I know it's somebody in that draft had decent outing.
No, not in that one. No, it was just Anthony. But
my bad.
No, that's all right. Yeah, Anthony Bennett. I won't forget the preseason. Okay, it's a game that doesn't count. They're down by 12 with about 4 minutes left to go. Bennett, power forward, small forward, whatever, he starts playing point. He's going to take the ball up. He's going to pull LeBron. He is going to lead the charge. He drops like 14 straight points and beats the Magic in an exhibition game. And the announcer, the late next to Austin Carr,
Fred
McLeod.
McLeod,
Yeah.
Fred
He
McLeod.
goes, I now see why the Cavaliers drafted him #1 overall, and all the guys are patting him on the back. This guy carried the team in this preseason game, and that was his claim to fame the rest of his career. that preseason game. They could have got Antetokounmpo, Giannis. Nobody saw what the Bucks saw coming. They didn't. He was like the 15th overall pick. That was a mess. So they screwed that one up. That set some back. Then the next year is Andrew Wiggins, #1 overall pick again.
Well, who was the general manager then?
Griffin took over that year because Grant was fired.
Okay.
Yeah, Grant, and Mike Brown were fired that same summer. Then Andrew Wiggins comes in. He gets traded. We don't see him. And then we know going forward. Going to what we have now, you have Sexton. He's been working out. 1 year, okay, Garland statistically was the worst star in the NBA, but that doesn't say a lot either. He's a rookie. He only played 5 games in college. I saw a lot of potential in other games he played. Windler's hurt. You got Kevin Porter there who's shown signs of being a very good player. And now we're here with Okoro. And the other difference, too, is when Irving was here and they were trying to mold that, they were dealing with locker room issues, they were dealing with coaching issues. You had Anderson Varejao, but that was your only veteran. They tried bringing Lowell Dang in here, did not work out. He was past his prime. You got Kevin Love and Andre Drummond, who are still great players, veterans. You got Larry Nance Jr., he's viewed as a veteran now, still a very good player. They have help, is what I'm trying to tell you. These guys, it's not like they're trying to learn all on their own. And so this really sets the Cavs up into a better situation. But again, we're gonna wait till trade deadline and see if Drummond and Love are still there. We'll see. I think the Cavs will surprise people. I'm not going to guarantee the playoffs, but I'm going to say they realistically could be a 6th, 7th, 8th seed team. 6 might be a little bit of a reach, but 7th and 8th potentially.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be exciting. They're a young team,
right?
So they got a couple good veterans, good leadership there. Got a decent coach, and I'm looking forward to this new Cavaliers team.
Right. The thing they're going to have to look out for in the Eastern Conference, of course, Boston Celtics. They're good. Miami, yes, they went to the finals. The other team coming up, Brooklyn Nets. They made the playoffs without Irving and Durant. That was impressive. Okay, now they're going to have Steve Nash as head coach, Mike D'Antonio as assistant. Durant is back. They said he looks better than ever. Kyrie Irving's in the mold. You got DeAndre Jordan still there. And now there's talks about them trading for James Harden. If they do that, this is going to make the East a little bit tougher. But the Cavs should be able to hang in with most of them. Most of the East, That includes also the teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs there. You still got the Charlotte Hornets and a couple other teams like that. You got your own division with the Bulls, Pistons, and there's other teams I could see will be weaker than the Cavs.
Toronto should be up there.
Toronto will be good. Toronto's going to be good. The East is slowly getting tougher and tougher, but what can you do? You know what I mean? And the West is still going to be. It's going to be tough, but as tough, you're going to see the Suns rise, the Rockets plunder. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to NBA basketball again. However, the other day I was playing. Did we get cut off? There we go. Okay, we had technical difficulties right there.
I didn't see your smiling face on the screen.
Yes. I was playing one of my old baseball video games again. I didn't get enough baseball this year. I don't know about you. They took 2/3 of our season away from us. It's not the same. So we talked about the Cavs. I think in fairness, before our first break, we got to talk about the Indians and what's going on around Major League Baseball. Of course, not a ton with the Indians. They did add a couple to their 40-man roster.
I will say Terry Francona is feeling a lot better.
Yep.
He's looking forward to being back on the field this 2001 season. You know, everything's going good. I read the Cleveland Plain Dealer yesterday, and he's doing a lot better. He's out in Arizona, his home in Arizona, recuperating because after his surgery, he had a couple surgeries and stuff like that, and doing better. And he says he will be ready to be back on the bench. So good.
Yep.
You know, Terry's one of the best managers in baseball.
Oh, he is. He has done it. And I would like to see him hold up that trophy one time.
One time in Cleveland.
One time, yes.
I mean, he got it in Boston.
Right. And he won't coach anywhere else. It's Cleveland or nothing.
And
at this point in his life.
speaking of Boston, his new bench coach was his bench coach
in Boston.
Brad Mills will not be back
on the field.
On the field, he is going up into the offices for the Indians this year. So they picked up. Excuse me. I just had it here.
I forget his name too. It's an unusual.
Hale. Last name's Hale.
Yeah.
DeMarco Hale.
DeMarco Hale,
who was the bench coach with him in Boston when he won the World Series in Boston and stuff like that. Of course, Hale also was a bench coach in
Toronto. I know he was with
Toronto
for a bit.
And just had him in Texas.
In Texas, there you go. So he's been around.
He's been around.
Of course, Mike Sarabaugh and Sandy Alomar Jr. will be retained.
As the first and third base coaches.
There you go.
Only
thing that concerns me is the hitting coach was retained, but he was in his defense. He wasn't there. He took the rest of the season off because of the whole COVID thing.
And Mike Chernoff, the Indians' general manager, is staying in Cleveland.
Right.
He did talk with the Mets about their job offering the Mets, but he decided I am staying in Cleveland. So
they're really happy with their position here. They're doing a great job. Chris Onetti was also approached by the Angels and about the same thing. He's too happy here to leave. He's got a great situation. He's built a great program here. Carl Willis will also be back pitching coach, which he hit a big milestone with his 5th Cy Young winner of his career, with Shane Bieber winning the Cy Young a couple weeks ago there. His other one's King Felix when he was with the Mariners with Eric Wedge, Rick Porcello when he was with Boston, and he had CeCe Sabathia and Cliff Lee with Eric Wedge here in Cleveland. So
and he also had my tongue. Trevor Bauer.
Who won
the National League Cy Young this year.
Well, he had him before. He didn't have him this year, but he won the National League. And it'll be interesting to see where he goes because there's a lot of rumors there. Dodgers have given him an offer. Yankees are interested. Clevenger wants him in San Diego. Or does he take the big money?
Is Clevenger going to be able to pitch next year?
No, they said no already. They said he's done.
He's done.
He had Tommy John surgery. He is done for 2021, and that Indians trade looks a little bit better. And nothing against Clevenger. I like the guy, great pitcher, but it's looking like that was a good move now. You know what I mean? But you had brought up something interesting as former Indians might be making a return to Cleveland.
Well, the one that's really talking is Jason
Kipnis. As I've told you, that was a favorite of Francona's. He had a good year with the Cubs. He lived his childhood dream playing with Chicago. He grew up in Chicago. He always wanted to be a Cub. He got to see that. He played very well.
Of the 60 game schedule that they played this year, he played 40 of them.
Yeah.
So he did have did play. He is a free agent. There is talk that the Cubs are not planning on re-signing him. So
and he took a minor league deal too.
Took a minor league deal with the Cubs, and so he can probably come back to Cleveland pretty much. They paid him $18 million is what the Cubs paid him.
They paid him that much?
It was that much. That was the option. That's why the Indians got rid of him. They couldn't.
I thought he took a minor league deal.
No, he took the contract $18.6 million.
Well, they got their money's worth in a way.
In a way.
In a way, yeah.
But he's going to, rumor has it that the Indians are high on him, bringing him back to Cleveland.
They're not going to pay him $18 million.
No, he won't get 18. He's a free agent, and I think he knows that.
Yeah.
I
think he wants to be back. I think.
And I'm going to tell you what, the way baseball is after this season, you're going to see a lot of players signing for less than what you think they're going to make.
Right.
We didn't make no money this year. We lost. The major league lost a lot of money. The teams lost a lot of money.
Right.
They can't afford these guys.
Right.
I mean, there was no fans in the stands. You had a 60-game schedule. You're gonna see a lot of guys signing for less than what you would think they would be signing for.
Exactly, and they're still going to make a good enough living though.
Well,
that's what it comes down to.
Give me $1 million. I'll sit the bench.
Yeah, that goes without saying there. Other names that were brought up as potential returns to Cleveland, Corey Kluber. Now he is injury prone.
He's injury prone. He only pitched one game this year in
one inning.
One inning.
And
but he's there's a possibility he could be coming back to Cleveland. And I'll tell you what, I think with Willis working with him, I think they can get him back on track.
They could. They could very
you got
well
one of the best pitching coaches in Major League Baseball.
You do.
In Willis in Cleveland, and of course he likes 5 Cy Young winners.
Yeah, that says a lot right there. The other one you were bringing up is Drupal Cabrera, the former second and shortstop for the Indians. His name's been popped. The Indians rumored to trade for him about 2 years ago. They didn't pull the trigger on that one. That would be an interesting addition too. So there could be a little reunions coming on for the Indians there. We'll have to see. I think one guy I want to see come back for sure is Cesar Hernandez of who was our second baseman, our Gold Glove winner there, and just because he played so well, he led the league in doubles, he played well defensively. If we could have a mix of him and at least Kipnis off the bench or something like that, I think that'd be good.
They have to. What is it? Is it December 3rd? I think the offer's got to be made.
Yeah, the fifth of meetings or something.
Yeah, they got to be made. So I can see Hernandez back in Cleveland. I think you liked it here.
I would like it. It's a younger, and it's nothing against the idea of Kipnis returning. It's just. It's a younger option. It's a more effective option. You know what I mean?
But Kipton was a fan favorite, though.
I know.
He was a fan favorite in Cleveland.
He fits the Latino mold too. We got a big Latino team in Cleveland. So it's just that they kind of it's like family when they talk in their native tongue and stuff. It's just kind of fun to watch.
Right.
But it's It'd just be good. Indians need to address center field too. Are they going to move with Mercado and Zimmer and try them? I'm not a big fan of DeShields Jr. If they want to keep him, that's up to them. Maybe they can make him better. We'll see what they do with Tyler Naquin too. That's another name. Is that trade bait right there? And then the other big one we don't like to talk about, but it's there's Francisco Lindor. Arraez, who they got out of the Padres trade, joined the 40-man roster the other day. So you're wondering if the plans are now in setup to make that move there.
Well, personally, I don't think Lindor's going to be here.
No, I don't think he's going to be here either.
I really personally think he'll be gone before the season starts. And that's the reason why you're looking at the Kipnises and the Abreos and Drubals.
Yeah.
That's why you're looking at that, because first of all, we ain't going to be able to afford him. And second of all, if you can get something for him, that's even if it's a couple good minor leaguers, that prospects.
Well, they want what they got from what Boston got from Mookie Betts, which was like 2 top prospects and then a couple other minor league, like 2 guys that were ready to be on the roster to go. Maybe that's where they find the center field.
I'm hoping we can figure out a way to keep him.
I know.
But I'm telling you right now, the teams are strapped. They're strapped for money. All of them, not just. Unless you got the major teams, the Yankees and the
Dodgers.
We're
talking about Nolan Arenado now, and that's just it's just mind-boggling.
But the mid city teams, the Cincinnati's, the Clevelands, Milwaukee's, they can't afford these guys. They can't afford these guys, and let's hope we can figure out a way. I don't know. I hate to lose Lindor. You know, and I think someday you got a future Hall of Famer.
Right.
You know, but
you might have that with Jose Ramirez too.
well, I think Jose's a future Hall of Famer.
That's where I mean, out of the two of them, and this is what's going to get brought up in a lot of debates as far as who deserves the money. One of them has been a finalist 3 times for MVP the past 4 years. It's not Francisco Lindor. It's Jose Ramirez.
But
and that's not to knock the guy.
We also got him under contract for another 2 years, so we don't have to really worry much about him right now.
But Antonetti did let it slip. Jose is a long-term plan. He said third base is locked up.
Well,
so
I hope you're right.
You know what I mean?
I like Jose.
And then what they're going to do with the rest of the outfield, what they're going to do about first base. They're talking about Nolan Jones trying out left and first base. He's a third baseman. See, that's where the Jose thing got brought up. They're talking about Naylor. Is he going to stay at left field, which he's kind of slow, but he's a good first baseman. So do they move him at first base? You're going to see the Indians make some major moves that are going to impact the next couple of years.
I think right now your problem is your outfield.
Yes.
I mean it's the outfield. You know, there's talk, of course, with the Yankees, Clint Frazier coming back. You know, and Clint's, he's so-so.
Yeah, he is.
He was so-so.
For the right price.
Bradley Zimmer.
We'll see. I'd give him another chance. Mercado, definitely.
Definitely Mercado. I mean, Mercado's got the speed in the outfield and stuff. You know, he struggled at the plate.
You're right,
but he's got the speed in the outfield. He'll run down balls.
Do you get the same feeling as I do as we've seen the best out of Naquin? Because
I think there's a little bit more to him.
There's a little more.
I think there's a little bit more.
They might keep. Yeah, I'm not against keeping the guy. I have nothing against. I like watching him play, but I've seen a lot of inconsistency from him. I've seen a lot of injuries. It's been kind of an up and down thing with Tyler Naquin, where you're not sure what you're going to get out of him next, and again, you're paying him a decent amount of money. I don't think it was a lot, but I think $1 million for one player is a lot. So that's just my perspective. You know what I mean? So
I think $1 million for anybody is a lot. But,
yeah, exactly.
But these guys are, they get it. I mean, they get paid a lot of good money.
They get paid a lot of good money there. We did see today Adam Simber got designated for assignment. That is big. That was one of Francona's favorite relievers.
But don't be surprised. Just because he got a designated assignment, you got to wait and see if somebody picks him up.
Right.
If not, the Indians can turn around and offer him a minor league deal.
Right.
So it's not, he's got designated for assignment. But like I said, if nobody picks him up, the Indians can still, and they still got the option for him. Per se, that if the Yankees say, well, we'll sign him to a minor league deal, and the Indians come back and say, well, we'll sign him for a minor league deal, the Indians can oversee something like that.
There you go. It's just interesting because he was a reliable reliever in 18 and 19. Didn't really show up in 20. I know Sandy was very hesitant to put him out there in critical late inning games.
I'm just not a submarine pitcher. So,
I like it if it works. Like I like Joe Smith when he was here. He ended up working out. The problem with submarine and sidearm pitchers is they get figured out eventually. Their first couple years of their career, they are a big threat if they're on, and then all of a sudden hitters just figure it out, and then that ERA just goes up every year after that. Which is typical for a lot of pitchers, but specifically submarines. Once they get figured out, you're done. Like they're not.
I like to
as useful.
I mean, like I said, we'll have to wait and see if somebody picks him up. The Indians can still grab him.
Yeah, they did grab a guy from the Giants who has never seen the major league field, but in the minors, he's put up like a 2.91 ERA. They think they get, and again, you're talking about the Indians, who are one of the best baseball teams in player development. They can take a guy and turn him around and mold him and make him look better than a lot of other teams can. So if they see something in this guy, then they'll take a chance there. So we'll find out what the Indians do in the next couple of weeks. It should be interesting. I think with the holiday, it's going to be kind of quiet.
And Shane Beaver did win another award.
What did he win?
He won the Baseball Writers Association Player of the Year.
There you go.
The Cleveland chapter of the Baseball Writers.
There you go. That's a big deal here.
Shane Beaver.
We got to take our break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Browns win on Sunday. We're 7-3. We'll talk about where we're going on from there. Stay tuned. It's 10 Cent Beer Night on PalmerCityRecords.com.
dawn of the blues walked in like a man. All these blues, the blues walked in like a man. Worried blues, give me your right hand. All the blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Ah, let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, or I drive my blues away. Jump the
back here at PalmerCityRecordStudios.com. It is 10 Cent Beer Night here on Wednesday night, November 25th. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And there you go. I know tomorrow everybody's ready for some football and some turkey and whatnot. Even despite everything going on, they should still have a good time somewhere. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of households that aren't doing their normal thing, but it's like it's still a holiday. Make it what you can. Before we go into picks and whatnot and go all Browns crazy, Bob, you got the list of the guys that made the first round of the.
There was 130 players nominated
for the Hall of Fame.
For
by the way,
Football Hall of Fame. They cut that down to 25 yesterday.
There you go.
And on February the 7th, they will announce 4 to 8 new inductees going in for the 2001 class. Right. Of course, we did not have an induction for 2000.
We got double class.
So we got double class this year. And of course, last year's inductees, of course, was Steve Atwater, safety, Isaac Bruce.
Great player.
Steve Hutchinson.
Great guard.
Edwin James. Troy Polamato of the Steelers. And, of course, coaches were Bill Cowers and Jimmy Johnson.
Both great coaches.
Those guys will be going in with this year's class. Now, this year's first class, Peyton Manning of the Colts.
Broncos too. He won a Super Bowl there with Denver.
With Denver, yes.
Yeah.
Charles Woodson of the Raiders and the Packers.
And also a Michigan Wolverine.
Okay. Jarrett Allen, defensive end with the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Panthers.
He was a good player.
And Calvin Johnson, a wide receiver with the Lions.
Megatron.
Those are the 4 that are first year pick. Now, we got a whole list here, and I'm not going down all 25. There is one here that
you want to circle.
I want to circle, and that's a Cleveland Brown.
Right.
Clay Matthews. This is the third time he's been on the ballot. Personally, in my opinion, he belongs in the Hall of Fame. But
he does. His son's still a free agent, I think. I was like, why don't the Browns pick him up just for kicks and giggles?
But, of course, I can go down a couple here. Eric Allen, cornerback. Willie Anderson. Cornelius Bennett. Going down a couple lists here.
Torrey Holt, I see. He played with Isaac
Terry Holt, yeah.
Rodney Harrison, a great safety there.
And, of course, you got
John Lynch, now the current
and Hines
GM
Ward
for the
of the Steelers.
Hines Ward, yeah. I think he'll get in.
So, anyway, they're going to pick 4 to 8 players to go in with that other class for next season. So that's on February 7th. The announcement will be made. So.
Could you imagine if Hines Ward, Troy Palmer, and Bill Cower go to the Hall of Fame and they have the Steelers-Cowboys game like they were
the Steelers and Cowboys game are the game is going to schedule.
It is.
That's the game. So
there you go. So that place is going to reek of black and yellow all over the place.
Hey, Hall of Fame committee, if you guys are out there, though, Clay Matthews belongs. Okay,
right.
Clay Matthews
throw
belongs.
Us some shade, man. Give you know what I mean.
Well, we all know Peyton Manning's going in.
We all know that. You're going to have the bad-mouthing Steelers fans, and you're going to have the egotistical Cowboys for the America's team. Right now, now you did win last week. I'll give you that, but it is what it is. It's just what's supposed to be a happy day in Canton is going to be just a toxic, a smug fest.
Anyway, Clay Matthews. I mean, like I said, I'm pushing for Clay. I believe Clay belongs there. But anyway, 4 to 8 of those members these names will be put in, along with those other 6 that I named earlier. But let's.
Josh Cribbs did not quite make the round.
No, but he made the nomination. Right. Somebody nominated him.
That's the start. So he will get. And he wasn't a first ballot. I didn't honestly think it. I just wanted it because he was our dude. He was our dude.
He was our dude. I mean,
you know what I mean. He was a local kid. He's still involved with the community and everything. He's got his own show at other places and stuff.
Of course, this is Hines Ward. We just said this is his second
right. He didn't make it the first time around, so maybe he will. Looking at a couple other names there. I just want. Oh, Fred Taylor. I thought that said Jason Taylor. He already went in. Right?
Jason Taylor's already in. Akron U-boy.
Patrick Willis. That was another guy I liked watching too. And then Darren Woodson and all that. Bryant Young. Yeah, there's a couple. You gotta remember, I used to play these guys in video games, and now they're at this point of their career. Yeah, this would be an interesting class. Richard Seymour. Yeah, this kind of takes me back, man. The Madden 2005.
And this is another thing too. Clay Matthews, of course, most of his career was with the Browns, but I didn't know he played 2 years in the Falcons.
Yeah,
I
yes.
didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, he had a great career in Cleveland. Like I said, I'm pushing for Clay.
There you go.
You know, if I was on the Hall of Fame committee, he'd get my vote.
He should. He should. Well, there you go. So you got your Hall of Fame talk there. Now let's talk some football. Real quick note, I want to give everybody, if you did not hear the news, tomorrow's Game 3 Thanksgiving game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers has been moved to Sunday. Both teams had increased COVID cases, and they wanted to avoid any more mess. So in case you did not hear that, you will not have Game 3 of the Thanksgiving scheduled tomorrow. It's just going to be the 2 games. So let's get back to the 2 games. Tomorrow at 12:30 p.m., kicking off our Thanksgiving tradition here. Houston Texans versus the Detroit Lions. Houston is 3-7. Detroit is 4-6. Bob, if you were playing the spread, which that's the only way you pay attention to football.
All right,
who would you take here?
I am going to take the Lions in the 2.5 points.
2.5 points there. I'm going to take the Lions. I think it's going to be a little bit more. That I can see 14. I can see 17 points. Texans defense is just not that great.
I mean, the Texans are given the points, so I'm taking the
really.
2. Yeah,
I'm not. I think I'll give Detroit the edge. Not only are they at home, but they can move the ball well when everybody's healthy. They're supposed to have Swift back tomorrow, their rookie running back who was playing very well this year. And, of course, Matt Stafford, he's still a great quarterback. And then it's kind of like the spotlight's somewhat on because it's Thanksgiving Day and whatnot. My gut is telling me the Lions will win their 5th game of the season, so I'm going to go with the Lions there. So there you have it. We both have Lions, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a bigger lead there. This one, I think this is going to be an underrated game only because it is 2 second-place teams. And, again, the
East,
NFC East.
NFC East is all 4 teams are 3 wins.
Yes, the Eagles don't have a tie, so that's why they are first place. So the Washington football team will be taking on the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow. Dallas coming on a win. I'm trying to remember if Washington won. No, I think Washington lost last week.
They lost last week.
They lost last week. That's right. I was trying to remember who they played. It's going to be an interesting game. You got Alex Smith, former first overall pick. He's been playing pretty solid after a horrific injury a couple of years ago. But the Washington defense.
The Washington football team. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to get some heat.
They're always going to be the Redskins to me. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you.
They're talking. I'm hearing more and more rumors. They're talking about keeping this team name, so we got to get used to it somewhere.
The Washington football team?
Yes. Not even going on to a different name.
It is a football team,
it is.
And it's in Washington.
Can you imagine bumping to a Star Republic and being like, hey, who do you play for again? Football team. Yes, smart Alec, which one? No, the football team, No, in all seriousness here, you got this Dallas Cowboys. Washington's got got a solid defense, I should say, not great. Dallas has got a poor defense. Washington has an inconsistent offense. So does Dallas. So this one's going to be closer than people think. I'm going to go with Washington. I am. I think they will find the edge out there. Ezekiel Elliott's not running the ball well. Andy Dalton, you don't know what kind of game he's going to have. And I think they're going to take advantage of this poor defense.
Well, I'm going to take the Cowboys and the points.
What's
3
points?
3 points.
They got 3 points there.
Only because the Cowboys are at home.
I can see Washington win by 7 or 10 points. I think it's going to be a close game till the end. I don't think it's going to be a blowout in any way. Again, we're talking about this is one of the most heated rivalries. It used to be a favorite to be the Thanksgiving game in Dallas. Is these 2 teams. So
well, it used to be. Well, the 2 teams that normally play Thanksgiving are playing Dallas and Detroit.
Right. We didn't lose a traditional game. We just lost the 2 teams I hate the most. That's all we lost. That's the reality of it. But that was going to be a good game. That was supposed to be the best game out of them all. So we'll have to see, and I feel for anybody that had tickets to that 3rd game. Well, sort of, not really.
This is a week also. There's no buys.
There's no buys.
No buys. Every team plays.
Everybody's playing. Everybody's playing. So let's move on. We've talked about Thanksgiving. We all agree that we think You're going to go with Dallas.
I'm going with Dallas.
All right.
And, I'm taking Dallas in the points.
In the points there.
So
there you go. He's taking the home teams. I'm taking the Lions in the first one. I'm taking Washington in the second one. We're moving on to 1 o'clock on Sunday, where we have the 3-7 Chargers play the 7-3 Buffalo Bills. If you were to take the points or against the points, which one were you taking there?
Of course, I'm going to take the Bills and give the Chargers the 7 points.
And there you go.
So
I'm going to take the Bills as well. Bills, of course, playing great football this year. Chargers, great offense. Herbert is playing like if he stays healthy, he'll run away with Rookie of the Year since Joe Burrow tore his MCL and ACL. He's going to be out until opening day next year. And I feel for him. He's a great quarterback. Right now, moving forward, Herbert's got that offense running like a well-oiled machine, but the Chargers' defense is not that great, and this Bills' offense is very, very good.
Very good.
And so is their defense, though.
It's good offense.
So I can see the Bills running away with it. I could say 20-plus points. I can see it.
Like I said, I'll give the Chargers the 7.
There you go. Moving forward, we're going to Indianapolis, where the Colts played a hell of a game last weekend against the Packers, but they're playing a division rival, and this is for the top of the division. The 7-3 Tennessee Titans play on the 7-3 Indianapolis Colts.
Should be a very good game. I am going to take the Colts.
You are going to take the Colts.
And I will give the 4 points. They're favored by 4.
Favored by 4. Colts are right to be fair. I'm going to go with the upset by 3 points.
You're going to
Titans.
take the Titans?
I'm going to take the Titans, and I'll tell you why. Titans, they've played good football this year, but of the past couple weeks total, it's not been up to par where they would like to be. Colts playing surprisingly good football. The issue that we've run into with the Colts, though, is the offense is hit or miss. They're really on one day or they're really off. Example, last weekend, they were really on. Against the Browns, they were really off. You know what I mean? It just depends what kind of day Phillip Rivers is going to have. I know the Titans want to come in strong. This is a heated division rival game. Colts got the better defense, but Titans got the better offense. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Titans are going to pull it off. I think on paper the Titans are the better team, but again, you can't take away what the Colts have done this year. They have played well. I'm going with the upset, though. I'm taking the Titans. There you go. Moving on, we got an interesting game in Minnesota. The 4-7 Carolina Panthers take on the 4-6 Minnesota Vikings. Panthers going on with let me see who's that quarterback they got out of the X League there. Not X League. I'm looking for it here. Let's see. He is. Never mind. Teddy Bridgewater's coming back.
Yeah, I did hear that.
I did not hear that. I heard the other guy was coming, Paxton or whatever his name is, who did, by the way, play solid, and he earned the win there. I am going to go with. I'm going to go a little defense, and you know what? Panthers do have a solid defense, but Vikings have a offense.
They got a better offense.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vikings in 3.
I'm going to take the Vikings, and I'm going to give the 4 points. Vegas is giving 4, so I'll give the Panthers the 4 points and take the Vikes.
There you go. Curtis Samuel of used to be beef with Ohio State is being a great utility guy for that Panthers offense. Other than that, they don't got too much. I mean, Bridgewater's played very well this year. This team's better than what I thought they would be at this point of the year. Vikings, however, they played a great game last week. Adam Thielen stepped up to the plate. Dalvin Cook stepped up to the plate. They got some playmakers there that are going to run that young Carolina defense a little crazy. But I think it's going to be close. Both teams are. I don't see them in the playoffs, either one of them. So I think this is one of those games. It's like you win for yourself, basically. You know what I mean? They're not entirely out of it, but I'm just looking ahead. I have a hard time seeing either one of them there. I'm going to take the Vikings at home. So there you go. Moving on. This game we'll talk a little bit longer about because it is the 7-3 Cleveland Browns going into the Jacksonville, who are 1-9 right now. And
that's, to me, that's kind of surprising. I thought Jacksonville was a better team than 1-9.
Well, Jacksonville is an interesting team because Doug Marin is a great coach. He had them up to par the first couple years he coached there, and when they switched quarterbacks and everything, they just did not look the same. However, their offense is still good. They're one of the most. I say they do well with moving the change. They got a good wide receiver group. They got a good young running back in Robinson. However, they're starting their third different quarterback this year, and Mike Glennon was named the starter. Kind of a Joe Flacco type player, tall, statue, like he doesn't move around the pocket very much, a strong arm, but he hasn't panned out to the career people thought they would. Going more in depth with the Browns because they are the local team and everything. Browns are in a little bit of a funk. What I mean there, Olivia Vernon wins AFC Player of the Week. That is Defensive Player of the Week. That is great. Myles Garrett is still going to be out this game. Denzel Ward is going to be out this game. Taki just got put on the COVID list. Who had the pick 6.
They got 5 players.
Yeah,
So.
And it's it makes you a little. However, they are still very upbeat about their situation. Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb talking to the media today. Kevin Stefanski. It's like their attitude is next guy up. You have to build a lot of depth in a good NFL team moving forward. Harrison also the safety. He's kind of questionable too. So they got banged up there. But here's the thing: if this is a game, they should win. If they do take a loss here, this is going to be very ugly. This is going to probably hurt their playoff chances a bit. I will say, because if you can't beat the Jaguars, and the Browns have beat good or poor teams this year. Take it or leave it.
Well, first of all, we lost to Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Right.
And then we lost a team that we should have beat.
And the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
We should have beat the Raiders.
And we've done well against it, but we did beat a tough Colts team.
And you beat a pretty decent Dallas team. I mean,
at the time, before Prescott got hurt, they were
a pretty good team.
They were top notch. Prescott was trying to come back, and the Browns held him there. I am going to go though the Browns in 17. I have faith in the run game. I think Baker can even throw a touchdown or two, believe it or not, with this against this Jaguars defense here.
I think the Browns will win this game.
Yeah.
I think they will cover the 6.5 points that Vegas has given. But I think it's going to be something like 20-14, 20 to.
You think it's going to be closer?
I think it's going to be close.
I do think in the beginning, at halftime, you're going to see a close game. If not Jacksonville leading, but I think you're going to see a breakthrough from the Browns after
like
that.
I said, the books are given the Browns favorite by 6.5 points. So
all I ask, because that game is that's on my 30th birthday this Sunday.
Well, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy birthday. 30.
Yeah, 30.
You look older than that.
Oh, thank you. I hope for a very sunny day in Jacksonville because the Browns could use a decent weather game because the past 3 have been completely hell.
We're gonna go back there. I am tired of hearing that.
I know, but
you know what? I don't care. It's football.
I know. It's Cleveland football too, and they gotta get used to that. But wouldn't it be nice? These guys are winning for once to give them a break and give them an 80-degree sunny day in the middle of November, end of November.
Personally, they do that at the Super Bowl. They take it to a warm city. It might be a team that plays in minus 10 degrees.
Right.
And the next thing you know, they're playing in this 80-degree weather. It's football.
You're right. No, you're right. But just for the sake of again, they are coming through for us. It's not in Cleveland. If it wasn't Cleveland, I would say whatever goes, goes. They're in Jacksonville. Could they have at least one nice, decent day before they head to Tennessee and before they head back to Cleveland and before they head to New York twice?
I don't care what the weather is, though. You got to play.
Right.
Because the same team is playing in the same weather that you're playing in.
Right.
And they might be. Who did they play last week? Who did Browns?
Philly.
That's going to get the same kind of weather. But I'm just saying, if Miami would come up here and we played Miami in that rain, they're the same. It's the same thing.
I know. No, and you're right. I know, but
we should be more used to it than most people.
And they are. They're playing
Northeastern Ohio.
At the same time, if they want to go to the playoffs, and hypothetically, let's say they have one home game. I'm not saying they will for sure. It might snow. So they got to make some adjustment there, and that's where the run game really comes.
Football, you don't know what the weather's going to be on a Sunday.
I just want them to have one nice weather game before it all goes down to normal December weather.
You should get it in Jacksonville, okay?
That's what I'm saying. So we're taking down the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going with Browns all the way here. Next up, we got the 3-7 Giants trying to fight for a top spot in the division, going against the 2-7-1 Bengals, who will now turn to Ryan Finley as their quarterback going forward for the rest of the season.
With what's his name?
Joe Burrow's
getting
with
hurt,
a serious injury there.
out for the season. I'm gonna tell you what. Before Burrows went down, I probably would have took the Bengals, but I am going to take the Giants, and I am going to give the Bengals 2.5 points.
There you go. I got the Giants in 10. I agree with Bob though. Like Burrow would have kept the Bengals game hopes alive. He would have pulled off the win, I think. But this is a game that the Giants should be able to figure out to win. Finley did not play well. Oh yeah, he didn't expect to go win the game, so hopefully he'll be more prepared going into the next one. We'll see. I know fantasy owners of T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green are really down in the dumps now because, believe it or not, Bengals wide receivers were valuable in fantasy football. How well the passing game was going. Now it's forget about
Who
it.
knows?
We'll see.
Who knows? This kid might come in and throw for 300 some
And
yards.
he might, and good for him if he does,
You never
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Giants too, and I think they'll get something going there. Yeah, I mean decent defense for not great, but the Giants defense will at least make some big turnovers some point at the game. They at least have forced a few of those each game. We'll see, but I'm going with Giants. Moving on, this one could be a fun one. We're going to Foxborough. The 6-4 Arizona Cardinals take on the 4-6 New England Patriots. Patriots just lost another running back in Rex Burkhead there, and Cardinals playing pretty well. What are you feeling?
I'm taking the Cardinals, and I'm giving the Patriots 2.5 points.
The 2.5 points.
I mean, it's not a very big spot.
No, it's not. I'm going to go Cardinals in about 17, 21 points or something like that. I think it's going to be a blowout.
You think it's going to be a blowout?
I do. I think here's the reason why. Patriots defense is still pretty solid. Patriots offense is just not moving like it should. Cardinals offense is fast, and they move the chains very well. I think they're just going to find a way to roll in this game. Patriots are due for a bad season. They've been dominating for 20 years or so. It's time for the turn. It's time for them to rebuild a bit. It's time for Belichick to get some new blood in there, and they're going to take some tough losses. I think this week's one of them. I think Cardinals roll. There you go. Moving on to another. We have a lot of 1:00 games on Sunday.
Right,
It's gonna be filled. It'll be fun there. This one, not going to be as fun, but it's unless you're a Miami fan. 6-4 Dolphins take on the 0-10 Jets. I shouldn't bother asking, but it's kind of my job here. Well, who are you taking in this one?
I'm taking the Dolphins, and I will give the 7 points.
You will go with
That's all they're giving is 7 points. So, but you know what? The Jets, I don't know. They probably are the worst team in the NFL, but you know what? Eventually they're gonna beat somebody.
I think they will. I don't think they.
I don't think they can beat the Dolphins.
I just hope it's not the Browns. We'll put it that way.
And they got the Browns coming up here in a week or two.
A couple. It's more than a week or two. It's the second to last game of the season, or third to last. Yeah. Because the Browns after.
Well, let's just hope that the Jets get a win before the Browns.
Right.
All right.
Before they're
you hate this because you hate. Closer gets that and whatever. That's when you start worrying.
Right.
They're going to come out.
There you go. You can make a good point. And this is a rival game here. I'm going to go with the Dolphins by 17. I don't know who's starting quarterback from the Tua's back.
I don't know.
He did take a hit. I know Sam Darnold might be back for the Jets, but Dolphins playing good football, underrated defense. I could see them putting up some decent points in this one. I'm going to give them the win there. And they'll continue on the playoff hunt while the Jets continue to debate. Not debate. It will be looking forward to the first overall pick there. And that is in New York. Moving on. Still at 1 o'clock games. Las Vegas Raiders 6-4 take on the Atlanta Falcons 3-7. Who do you have?
Well, I am going to take the upset here.
You're taking the Falcons?
I'm taking the Falcons, and I'm going to take the 3 points with them.
And take the 3 points with them.
I am going with the upset. I just got that feeling the Falcons are gonna do something this week.
I'm gonna take the Raiders by 17 or 24 points here, somewhere along those lines.
I figure that.
Yeah, they've been actually playing pretty well.
That is my upset. My upset, and I did take them on my sheet.
Right.
Amusement only, though. Amusement only.
There you go. They did have a last second last second touchdown given up, blowing up to the Chiefs last week. They're hungry for another win. Derek Carr's very angry. You saw that picture there. Just he's not very happy with everything going on there. With last week's game, I should say. I'm not saying the whole situation in John Gruden or anything blowing up there. Las Vegas, they have to be the first new franchise to play the longest without any fans too. So yeah, they have what they call
no fans in LA.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas?
They will not let any. They call it the Death Star. It's a big black arena that kind of looks arena.
A lot of the stadiums are allowing fans in there now.
Right,
but I know the Browns are allowed 12,000. Is it 12,000?
Right. No, I got Raiders here. I'm
going to take the upset. I'm going with this is the one that me and you probably really going to disagree on. But I really believe the Falcons are going to.
Falcons have a chance. They got a solid offense. There's that defense. It's just one of the worst. They need to load up on some defense in the next draft or so. The game we're supposed to have tomorrow night that got moved to 1:15 p.m. on Sunday. 6-4 Baltimore Ravens will be at the 10-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. Bob, does Pittsburgh continue the streak?
Well, I think Pittsburgh's going to continue it. I am taking Baltimore in the 4 points. All right. Hopefully that they can beat them outright. The Steelers win this game. They're to be the first team to clinch a playoff spot. So, but I think the Ravens got, they got to play. I mean, they're dropping quick. I mean,
they're third place in the division.
Yeah, we're
they're third.
The Browns are first, man.
Second. Yeah.
But I'm just saying that they have to get back in it, and they know that this is a game that they have to get back.
This might be a must-win for them.
Yeah, I think this is a must-win for them.
There you go.
They lose this game, you might as well say their season's done.
Obviously, when we make these picks every week, what's that saying? Every other Sunday. Or any Sunday, however it goes.
Any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday, that's what it is. And not every other Sunday, blah, blah, blah.
And the only thing bad about the Ravens, they're going into Pittsburgh.
Right, they're going to Pittsburgh.
But like I said, I think the Steelers will win. I don't think they'll win by the points, though. That's the reason why I took the Ravens and the 4 points.
You took the Ravens and the 4 points there. I have been right about Pittsburgh up until this point. I've predicted their 10 straight losses week by week. I have made that call. I am making the call. The streak ends this Sunday. Baltimore by 7. Lamar Jackson needs a good game. He's going to come out. He needs to prove that he can help take these guys to the playoffs. This is a must-win. I do believe that. This is the first time I've predicted Pittsburgh to lose. I've been right, again, with Pittsburgh up to this point. Pittsburgh ends the streak. They do not clinch this weekend. Baltimore wins. And we move on to the 4 o'clock games. 8-2 New Orleans Saints take on the 4-6 Denver Broncos. Broncos have a surprisingly solid defense there. Offense, a little inconsistent, but they tend to find a way to score points either way. Saints, they're without Drew Brees, but they still played pretty well last week. Where are you going with?
I'm going with the Saints. The 8-2 Saints, yeah.
By how much? What's the spread?
Well, the spread right now is 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
I'll go Saints with about a touchdown, 6 or 7 points there. I think it's going to be a close game. Broncos are well coached. They just don't have the right players. That's how I feel. You could tell that they know the game. You could tell they're very organized out there. They have a defensive coach there, and I think it's Fagaro, you say his name. I think I butchered that big time. But no, Fangio.
Fangio.
I thought there was an R in there. Sorry, I turned down and there was there. But yeah, he used to be with the Saints, I guess. But Fangio is a great defensive mind. They'll find a way to hang in there. Saints are going to pull it out, though. No matter who's quarterback, no matter if it's Hill or Winston there. So this one should be a good one. The last time these teams met, San Francisco pulled the upset. The 49ers 4-6 are at Los Angeles Rams 7-3, a good division match.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to see the upset this week.
I don't think so either.
I think the Rams will beat them. I'm going to take the Rams, given the 7, but I think it's going to be 10 or 15.
10 or 15, I can see that. Yeah. I can even see up to 17. Rams played the Buccaneers pretty well last week and hung in there. Rams are a good team. I really like the Rams. I like the way how they operate their offense. They get a lot of players involved there. Defense too is disgusting good. 49ers, just too many injuries this year. This is going to be one of those years where you just take a higher draft pick, and then if you're Kyle Shanahan, you build on the next year and try to find the success that you had in 19. I'm going with the Rams. I think it's going to be good. I'll say at least 10 points they win there in that one. We go on to this one's going to be a good one. Okay, the 9-1 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 7-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tom Brady.
You're going with Tom Brady.
I'm going with the Bucs.
You're going with the Bucs there. Not a bad pick there. Bucs defense again.
I mean, the Chiefs are favored by 3 in this game here. They're in Tampa. I'm going to go with the home team in this one. So
there you go. I'm going to go with Kansas City by 7.
I'll take the Bucs in 3.
Kansas City's going to be rolling, and I think once Kansas City sees Pittsburgh lose, they're going to want that top spot there for the AFC, and then that's going to shake things up a little bit, just a little bit.
They'd be tied.
They'd be tied, yeah.
Because Kansas City's 9-1 right now.
Right. But they're going to want to make sure that they stay tied there. Patrick Mahomes, he's due for another good game too. He's going up against the GOAT. I mean, they keep saying Mahomes is going to be that heir to what Brady is leaving behind. I think he's got to show it. He's got to come out there. He's got to beat Tom Brady. Again, they lost a good one last week, the Buccaneers. So they're going to, and the Chiefs came back and made a miraculous comeback there. One team's fired up. One team's hungry for a win. But I got Kansas City. I think Kansas City will pull that off there. We are going to, actually, before we talk about the last couple of games, we are going to take a break here in a minute or so. Just a quick recap while we go on break there. For just tomorrow's games. We're not going to go through all of them. We'll go to tomorrow's games in the Browns. Me and Bob had... no, you had the Texans winning.
I had the Texans winning.
You had the Texans winning. I had the Lions winning. And then you had... the Cowboys winning,
right? And
I had Washington winning there. And for the Browns, we both had the Browns beating the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville.
I have the Steelers beating the Ravens, but I'm taking the Ravens and the points.
You're taking the and I got the Ravens.
You got the Ravens winning outright.
And that's not tomorrow again. A reminder for anybody that just happened to watch.
Oh, do you mean for tomorrow's night? For tomorrow's Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah,
Turkey Day.
Turkey Day. Yeah. We were just mentioning tomorrow's game and the local teams' games there. But yeah, Browns, Ravens and Steelers game has been postponed till 1:15 p.m.
on
Sunday. Yep. Because of COVID cases and stuff. We just hope this keeps down the par so we can keep the schedule going and everything. All right, you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll go take our break now. And we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. We'll finish up some of our football talk and we'll get into some more things here on 10 Cent Beer Night. Stay tuned and don't eat too much turkey right now either. Save some for tomorrow. PolymerCityRecords.com.
Gobble.
And save some beer too for tomorrow. You don't want to wake up hungover, I think. We'll be right back. back. I hope you enjoyed our little punk rock intermission there.
Welcome to Akron.
Welcome to Akron, CD Truth. They're no longer together, unfortunately, but they had a lot of local spirit.
I like that. I like that song.
Yeah,
Welcome to Akron.
It was a lot of their songs seem Akron based too. That's you don't see that a lot with bands or whatever. It just doesn't. You just don't see that, but it's fun. You know what I mean? Of course, a lot of those images they showed have changed over the years and whatnot. But there you have it. Moving on to, we were talking some football and predictions. Where we got a couple games left in our predictions for Sunday. We'll go to the Sunday night game, a rivalry game. The 5-5 Chicago Bears take on the 7-3 Green Bay Packers. Bears had a bye week last week. Packers had a brutal loss. And when I mean brutal, I don't mean in the way of the score. I just mean a back and forth game, and they could not come up with the game-tying touchdown at all against the Indianapolis Colts. So they're going to be really itching for a win here.
Right, and I'm taking Green Bay.
You're taking Green Bay, so am I.
And Green Bay is given 8 points. It's the highest points given this week of all the games.
And that's the interesting thing, too. The Bears' defense is really good. Their offense is really bad. Like, it's very bad.
But I'm like you. I do say that I think Green Bay, after that bad week last week, they're going to be up for this game.
Green Bay didn't play bad. They just couldn't hold the lead. Green Bay's got a Mike Pennant's defense isn't playing up to par.
Okay.
Of what a lot of people think, and I think that's what hurt. Again, I told you the Colts offense is very inconsistent, and the Colts found a way to beat them. And that's partially because the Green Bay has to really work on defense. Green Bay offensively is very, very good. I can see the Packers winning by 10, 17 points here. I don't think more than that because the Bears defense tends to not really give up a ton of points. They do give up some. It depends. They've had some games where they have. There's some games they have not. But there's a lot of great talent in that Bears defense. And with this being a rival matchup in Green Bay, they're going to want to just step up and limit how many points. But again, Nick Foles is not. Let's see. Is he playing even? Because he got hurt. No, he has not named the starting quarterback because I know Foles is hurt. Let me pull up real quick here. Trubisky's full in practice. Foles did not practice on Wednesday. Again, Foles took a big hit there. It looks like it's between those guys and not the third stringer at all. So he has not named who the quarterback is going to be. Again, the Bears start I think 5-1, and so or 4-1 at least. So they've taken a tumble of late, and this would be a big win for them. But I don't think they're going to get it. I got Green Bay here, and I think it'll be a good day for fantasy owners of Green Bay wide receivers and running backs there. This one's not going to be as fun as we thought it was in the beginning of the season. Monday night game, the 7-3 Seattle Seahawks versus the 3-6-1 Philadelphia Eagles.
The first place.
Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, they are. They're still in first place despite their loss to the Browns last weekend.
And of course, I'm going to take Seattle.
Right.
And I'm going to give the 5.5. That's what they're giving. I can literally see that whole Eastern, except for Washington and Dallas. I think the two teams in the East. I can see all the other teams in that division losing this week.
Right. One of them's got a win between Washington and Dallas. Yeah.
And,
you had the Bengals win. Or no, you had the Giants winning.
I had the Giants win.
Yeah, so did I. So the Giants are good. If the Giants win, then there's going to be a three-way tie still with what the second place team 1 game behind.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying it's still. And the sad thing about that is when the playoffs come up, the winner of that division is going to be in the playoffs, and you could have a team that's 10-6, not make the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say here?
It's crazy.
Or 9-7
before, yeah.
It's happened before.
It's happened to the Browns before.
Yeah.
They were 10-6.
They were 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs.
Did not make the playoffs.
But there was a team that was 9-7 that won their division, made the playoffs.
The year the Giants won the Super Bowl, they were 10-6. Same year there. I'm going to go with Seattle too. I think it's going to be more of a blowout game, about like 21-24 points here. Reason being, Seattle just took a tough loss to Minnesota. Again, they're going to be hungry to get back on the winning track. Philadelphia is, again, they don't have enough weapons on offense to help support Wentz. That O-line is so beat up. You saw the Browns go to town on him last Sunday. And again, that this Eagles defense, again, is kind of questionable. These guys are going to need some serious offseason changes. I don't even mean in the coaching area. I just mean in adding some younger, new playmakers to the list, because they need some help on all sides of the ball. Eagles, but they're coached well enough that they can stand the course against anybody in a game. It's just one of those weird teams where it's like they're not a playoff team, but they're not a terrible team either. That's how I feel about Philly. But Seattle's a very good team. They've got a lot of playmakers on there. I think they're going to overtake it. If they can't stop Chubb and Hunt, they're not going to stop DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson's passing crew. That's the way I know there's two different things, but the playmakers really, really separate the boys from the men here in football. And that's what I think is going to happen there.
So that's our NFL for this week, right?
That is our NFL for this week. What's our MAC football for this week? Because we had
I'm gonna tell you what I did find out today that the Mid-American Conference basketball will not start until December 15th.
Correct.
They're doing an all-conference schedule. Now the women's side, they're having non-conference games. But they are now being season ticket holders in both football and basketball. You know, that's really messed us up this year. But they're not allowing any fans at any of the Zips or the MAC games.
Right.
So, but that's as of right now. They're going to reevaluate it as the season goes on. But so they were talking about a lottery. That, you know, the season ticket holders would be in a lottery with certain games we can go to, so there ain't that many. Well, they did away with that, so there won't no fans. The only fans will be allowed there is the players are allowed 4 tickets for each of their family members.
Right.
So
no football this week though. Like you're talking basketball.
I'm talking basketball.
Yeah.
Football, kind of, you know, our Zips are they're having problems.
That wagon wheel game, the first half was very good.
They played good. I listened to it.
Offense is looking solid. Defense was non-existent. But they were in it until the second half, and they can't stay blue them there. Your current standings in the MAC football in the Mid-American East, Buffalo and Kent are 3-0. Miami, Ohio, and Ohio U are 1-1. Akron and Bowling Green are both 0-3.
I think we got Bowling Green this week, don't we? Tuesday night?
Or next week.
Next week.
I think because of the holiday.
The holiday, they went. They're playing Saturday.
They're playing Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, I think
I'll pull the schedule up here in a second.
I think they're playing Ohio U.
For the Western Conference, Western Michigan, Massachusetts. Where am I getting that? 3-0.
Massachusetts at one time was in the MAC.
They are in.
They're in soccer.
Is it soccer?
Soccer.
Yeah, with West Virginia
but they did,
and all that.
1 year they were there for football, UMass.
But, soccer in the MAC is a serious thing there. Western Michigan 3-0. Ball State, Central Michigan, and Toledo are 2-1. Eastern Michigan and North Illinois University are 0-3. Let me pull the schedule up real quick here. So yeah, I'm hoping for not another year where the Zips I'm hoping they don't go winless here.
Well, I'm hoping they can get at least their first win for their coach. Tom's a good guy, Tom Hart. And
all right,
Of course, they are right now the NCAA Division I, the longest losing streak of any college program right now. 21 straight losses. So. For the Akron Zips.
That's a shame.
In Division I.
Friday night, Central will play Eastern Michigan there. That'll be on CBSSN. Going into Saturday, Northern Illinois will play Western Michigan on ESPN+. Bowling Green will play Ohio on ESPNU. Kent will play Buffalo on CBSSN. That's going to be a
good game.
That will be. Ball State plays Toledo on ESPN3. Miami, Ohio plays Akron on ESPN3. This is a winnable game for Akron here. So they have back-to-back winnable games going into this coming weekend.
I just like to see him get Tom his first win. Yeah. And we'd also got to congratulate 7 state champions in Ohio.
Correct. Go ahead and tell them.
Of course, this past weekend was the state football championships in Ohio, and we crowned 7 champions. In Division I, Cincinnati Xavier beat Pickerington Central 44-3. In Division II, Hoban, the Knights, and this really surprised me because I thought it would be a better game than this, but the Hoban Knights beat Massillon, the Tigers, 35-6. Division III saw Chardon beating Columbus St. Francis 31-28. That game went into overtime.
Really?
In Division IV, Van Wert beat Mentor Lake Catholic 31-28. In Division V, Kirtland beat Ironton 38-0. Coldwater in Division VI beat New Middleton Springfield 38-35. And in Division VII, New Brennan 31, Warren John F. K 0. Now Hoban, of course, they beat Massillon, and that was their 4th state championship in the last 5 years. Massillon's been in 4 straight championship games and have not won one yet.
Really?
Yeah. So
they're usually always
two of the
in it.
3 has been against Hoban. So. And the funny thing about Massillon is, they hold the record of the most state championships in Ohio. They have 36 state championships, but they have not won a state championship since they went to the playoff system in '72. So it was always AP poll. So
dang.
So anyway,
they're always in it.
Yeah, congratulations to all the state championship. There was a short year, there was only a 6-game season. Then they went to
for
playoff.
some it worked out, but
Some
for
worked
others,
out, but
it was different.
It was a different time, and hopefully next year we can get back to normal and they play the 10-game regular schedule and then playoff games and stuff like that. But anyway, state championship. Congratulations to the 7 winners and the 7 losers. I mean, they made it. They got there. So as runner-ups, there ain't nothing bad about being a runner-up.
No,
okay?
And especially some of those seniors.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that would like to have been there.
Right.
Okay.
There's some of those seniors there, especially when we talk about the spring sports that recently seniors couldn't play their last season.
I mean, it's like Massillon. Massillon had 4 years in a row. So their seniors was there 4 years in a row.
They've seen it.
They
gives the bigger schools a little bit better look at some of those players there. And that's what I wanted to bring up too when we were talking about the NBA draft and stuff, is a lot of those teams did not get to see those players in the big tournament.
Right.
So they had to really just look at what they had, and in the case of scouting for college football, it's the same thing there. This still gave them a little more to look at as far as players going into next year. Real quick, while we're on the subject of football here, let's talk about the Big Ten schedule for this weekend. That's the big division around these parts.
Right. OSU?
OSU, yeah. We go into Friday, November 27th. Nebraska at number 24, Iowa. Kirk Ferentz's team. We'll see how that pans out. I know Iowa is favored there. Then on Saturday, we have number 4, Ohio State University, who are in the first playoff picture of the year officially. That's what they had with Clemson, Notre Dame, and Alabama. There, they will play at Illinois. They should roll, but Indiana was a good team last week.
Indiana's a good improved team.
Right. They are very good,
and they got a very good coach.
Fields needs to step up.
He did have a bad game.
He had a bad game. He's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. That was a game that hurt his Heisman chances, I think. But he needs to brush it off, go back out there, dominate Illinois. So that will be at 12 p.m. at noon there on Saturday. So when you're done with your leftover turkey, go up and watch the game there. Maryland at number 12, Indiana. I would take Indiana in that one. That That's on ESPN2, and that's on noon. On noon on ABC, Penn State at Michigan. I would have Penn State in that one. Michigan looks like a train wreck, and that takes my bias aside real quick. They just don't look good. Number 8, Northwestern. Remember when Akron beat them a couple years ago?
Right.
At Michigan State, that's on ESPN2, 3 p.m. I would think Northwestern would be favored in that game. And then at 4 o'clock at Purdue, Rutgers at Purdue. Rutgers is their growing program there with Micah.
They also got a pretty decent coach. He's turned that program around
Again.
He was there for a while, and then he came back.
He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then it was a whole thing. We did have a cancellation for this weekend. Minnesota at number 16, Wisconsin has been canceled for this weekend there. And again, we went without an Ohio State game against Maryland a couple weeks ago too. And Maryland has Tua Tagovailoa's brother there at quarterback too. I don't know if he's starting, but he's one of the quarterbacks there, the top pick for the Miami Dolphins this past year. So that'll be interesting to watch him in that division there. Anything?
So Ohio State is the number 4 seed in the new playoff picture.
Yes, they are.
So
they would play Alabama if it ended all today. And that would be a good game. That would be great. Even though Nick Saban has COVID again, and or at least tested positive.
I did hear that coming in tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's just his second positive test, but they think he actually has it this time. The first time he didn't really have it. So there you go. But we wish him well. Former fellow Kent State graduate player and coach, former Cleveland Browns defensive backs coach. There's a lot of ties around here with him. So, I know there was rumors for years, could he coach the Cleveland Browns? That's not going to happen. But that's besides the point. Any fun facts you have for us in our last 10 minutes here?
Well, I got a couple little things in Cleveland, Ohio sports history today, okay? Yeah. On this day in 1941, Lou Boudreau was 24 years old, became the player-manager of the Cleveland Indians.
And that was big. Big.
Of course, he ended up winning the World Series in 48 as a player-manager.
Hall of Famer. One of the better Cleveland shortstops we've ever had.
In 1951, Cleveland Browns are penalized for a record 209 yards in a game against the Chicago Bears, in which they won 42-21. In 1951. And also, in that game, Cleveland Browns halfback Dub Jones, now this is before Jimmy Brown, tied the NFL record by scoring 6 touchdowns in the game, rushing.
Impressive.
In that 42-21
And again,
victory.
that's not the NFL, though, if I'm correct.
That is the NFL.
Is that?
The Browns became in the NFL in 1950.
They said the rushing record for touchdowns was 5, so it's actually 6.
It's 6. That happened in 1951 on this date.
Somebody needs
November
to update
25th.
their statistics then.
Of course, in 1966, Cincinnati's infielder from Cincinnati, Tommy Helms, is voted the National League Rookie of the Year.
Now, that's a Cincinnati fact. That's not a Cleveland fact.
Well, it's an Ohio fact.
Ohio, yeah.
And, of course, in 1970, Canton's native catcher for the New York Yankees, Thurman Munson, won the Rookie of the Year award in 1970.
There you go. Thurman Munson, fellow, also Kent State player.
Kent State player.
There.
Not too far from here, graduated from Glen Oak High School, which is now Glenwood. He graduated from Glenwood High School down there in Canton area. So.
There you go.
And then went Kent State, of course. He is up until Derek Jeter. He was the last captain of the New York Yankees. They used to name a captain, and between Munson, when he was killed in the plane crash, until Derek Jeter, there was no captain ever named.
Really? I did not know that. That's a very interesting fact. Yeah. What an honor it had to be for Jeter there.
Yeah, so
there you go.
Anyway, of course, Thurman Munson, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Does he belong there?
Let's say yes with Pete Rose.
Yeah, I'll say yes. Statistically, he didn't. You know, he was only 5 years. You know, a great ball player, great catcher, great leader, and died young. You know, I was just down his grave not too long ago. He's buried down at Sunset down there in by Belton Village, Westwood Mall, whatever they call it now. Got a nice marker and stuff there, you know, and people leave gloves and balls and stuff all over. And a great ball player. But going back to the Pete Rose thing, there is talk now. There is another petition going on to get Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I just seen that the other day. And Manfred, get him in the Hall of Fame. Let him go in the
Pete,
Hall of Fame.
We're rallying.
Or at least
for you,
let
man.
him go on the ballots, okay?
We're rallying for you, man, because this is, it's gotten to the point it's a little ridiculous. I think we can move on from what he did.
What he did as a player is completely opposite of what he did as a manager.
Right.
All right. And then there was never no proof that he betted against the Reds.
Correct.
He betted for the Reds to win. You know, so why would he
Right.
bet for them to win? He wants them to win.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
I don't understand.
We're rooting for you, Pete.
Of course, I know it's an unwritten rule in baseball. You do not gamble in baseball. You can take steroids. You can be an alcoholic, but you do not gamble in baseball. That's
It's
unwritten
like,
rule.
dude,
And one of the greatest pitchers of all time, Bob Feller, and I got to meet Bob a couple times, got autographs from him, got pictures signed of him and stuff. Bob was against Pete getting in for that reason. He betted on an unofficial rule of baseball.
Yeah,
He
I
bet on it.
understand, but
And because I even asked Mr. Feller one time, we was sitting there talking for a second. He was at the table when he signed autographs, and he says Pete don't belong there. He broke the forbidden rule. Exactly what Bob told me.
but you can do coke and acid and all kinds.
You
of
can
stuff
do
on the
whatever you
field.
want, you know, but you don't bet, okay? And you know what? Betting's legal in Ohio. You can walk into a store anywhere and buy a lottery
I
ticket.
think the bottom line is he didn't bet against his team and throw games and stuff. He betted for the team to win, and he did everything he could to make sure they won. You know, like a good manager would. But real quick, Bob, we only got a couple minutes left before instead of taking on an angry subject, because we're really hoping for Pete Rose here. What's your favorite part of the Thanksgiving table?
Food. Everything.
Like, is there a family tradition that normally happens, or what?
Mom usually makes the turkey and ham. And
Oh, you do ham too.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she does it both on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I do know there's going to be turkey and ham tomorrow.
So turkey and ham tomorrow.
I just personally, I think the Thanksgiving dinner is the best dinner of the year. I think it's even better than Christmas. You know,
Hey, Christmas is kind of just thrown together. You want the presents, you don't want the food.
yeah. So, but it's the big one. I mean, you just got to be careful with what's going on out there. This world today. Supposedly, quote unquote. I'm trying to be nice.
Right. But we can be safer. I did just read on my Facebook. I had a friend of mine who canceled his plans because he just found out he has it, so he's got to go to court.
Well, I mean, it's there. My daughter and my son-in-law both came down with it. My mom has had it. She's getting over it now. I know she's getting over it because yesterday she was putting up the tree. So
right. She's fine.
She's fine. Just got to be careful out there. Just use some common sense.
Right.
Just use common sense until we get a cure or a vaccine or whatever. You just use some common sense. Luckily, I've been around these people that have it, and I have not got it. I was tested the other day because of my mom's situation, and I came back negative. So, I don't know. It's got to be good living,
There you go. There you go. To add to mine, I'm not going to be with my dad tomorrow. He lives in Indiana, but his homemade rolls pretty killer on Christmas and Thanksgiving there.
Did he send you some?
No, of course not. They want
Why
to hog
not?
it. They want to hog it all for themselves.
Well, you know what? Indiana ain't that far.
I'm not driving. There's some people I don't want to see too. That's another story too. But no, I want everybody who's watched. I don't know how many people are watched or whenever we watch the replay or whatnot. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Make it a good time. I know things in the world are weird. We were limited on sports this whole year. We were able to have what we have, but find something to enjoy yourselves. Because
just go out and enjoy. Be with your family and your friends that you can be with. Enjoy the company, and life goes on.
It does.
Life goes on.
It does.
Enjoy it, okay? And like I said, I do want to wish you and your families out there a happy Thanksgiving. And, we'll, like I said, next week, I'm sure if you look at me and Seth, you're going to see our guts out a little bit.
Man, we'll see. Hey, that's all the time we have today. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll be back next Wednesday. 7:30 to 9:30. I almost said 6:30. 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on PolymerCityRacers.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Go Browns!